Hey, FanboyNation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
You're watching.
We're watching. You're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy. Fanboy.
Fanboy.
Fanboy.
A fanboy, etc.
FanboyNation.
Dot. I assume Tom.
Congratulations on the Duel Gentlemen's Rules. The concept is absolutely hilarious, and I think dueling should make a comeback at some point, just so people will become better behaved.
Who would you duel in that case?
Who would I? Oh man, there's way too many people. It'd just end up like a UFC fight at some point. So, Dylan, your character in this, not such a good guy after all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Sorry, you broke up for a second.
Oh, the audio was cutting out.
No, yeah, I mean, look, I'd say I'm not sure that there's any real good guys or bad guys in this movie. I think they're all a very strange moral gray area. Certainly the action that Callan takes prior to the movie is terrible. And he is trying to rectify his mistake through it. And I do think that he genuinely believes in Abby's love for him and his love for Abby, which is a kind of fucked up side effect to being such a damaged young lad.
And all at the expense of Woody.
I mean,
Yeah.
Woody doesn't prove himself to be the best guy either. I mean, burning your best buddy's dead dad's surfboard is something like an escalation. So they're two peas in a pod in a way, which honestly is why the duel is on the table at all. That's why it's such an important dilemma that these lads are having, because were the friendship, any weaker, a duel would never come up, wouldn't be warranted.
This is true. Patrick Warburton is in the film with you guys. He's actually teaching you the rules of engagement early on in the film and how this is going to go about. Your level of professionalism and not destroying take after take with his deadpan delivery, I commend you more so than anyone else, because I would have been kicked off the film.
I mean, how can you be sure that we didn't?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in there too, and Patrick gives a lot of very funny improv alternatives too. So we were stifling laughter virtually the entire way through.
It's true, but he's a real
scene.
genius. He was a phenomenal addition to the movie that really helped to kind of he acted as sort of a tonal fulcrum around which much of the film was able to swing, and it was a real privilege to be able to work on a set with that genius. So I was glad to have him there, even if we did ruin a couple of takes by laughing.
Yeah, I would have ruined the whole movie. But gentlemen, if dueling does come back, what would be weapon of choice?
I would
do a morning star.
Yeah, morning star. I think that I would go likely for shield and a one-handed weapon. I think that would be it. That's a real test, in my opinion, of actual combat prowess. I think dueling pistols can take away some of the personability of actually venting the frustration. And, seeing the light fade from your opponent's eyes up close is something I've always dreamed of. So that's what I would.
You came close to saying something you really enjoy. When I've done that. Yeah, no, I think I agree with Dill in that the melee option makes the most sense to me, just in terms of actually bringing to bear a proper dramatic conclusion, because the pistols, so often they misfire, so often they miss, and even when they do hit, it's never necessarily, it's not always indicative of one's skill. It sometimes is just the way the physics cookie crumbled. But I like the idea of single-handed sabers, just because when I've seen these videos of the historical European martial arts guys doing it, when they get really involved, and there's a bit of a back and forth, but it's not like a like a cartoonish 10-minute long movie sequence. It's at best 30 seconds. But there is something personal and beautiful about it. And there's also a pretty good chance that you both survive, but someone does draw first blood, which is a kind of a nice way to have your cake and eat it too. I really do think there are very few people in my life. In fact, I can't think of a single person that I would want dead, but I can think of a few that I would want to scratch or otherwise wound. So probably sabers.
So Callan's all for the maiming at this point.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even know if maiming. I don't want to cause somebody, kind of suffering for the rest of their days. I just want them to maybe have a scar that reminds them of the ill.
Look, I will say, Callan, if you and I were to actually duel, if you did maim me, if it was like one of these cool ones, I'd be okay.
You'd be all right.
That'd be pretty sick.
Every dude,
The one that just grazes the eyelid.
Non-lethal scar.
Yeah, having an eye patch would be pretty sick, I think.
Well, the movie's absolutely hysterical. I mean, Justin and Luke were fantastic to speak with yesterday. When you have young directors that are within your age group, give 5 to 10 years, is it a relief in working with somebody that understands the cultural context of what you both grew up in versus having a much older director kind of, try to explain things that doesn't fully come across in what they want delivered?
I mean, I think oftentimes the danger of relative youth is that it often comes paired with inexperience, right, or an apparent inexperience. But there was remarkable just fluidity on this set, even though they were first-time directors together. They commanded that ship as though they'd been at sea for many years. So we kind of got the best of both worlds, as Hannah Montana would say.
Yeah, I think that was always the kind of goal behind this movie a little bit, was to try and get people out of their comfort zone to try something that we all really wanted to do. And so I was personally never worried about Luke or Justin rising to the occasion. I think that was also why having both of them do both the writing and the directing was also a great idea. So I'm really, really proud of both of them, the way that this panned out. And it was never a question of their taste. I think, and I think I can speak for Callan and I here. We've been friends with them for so long that we knew their taste so intimately. I feel like that's a funny sentence. I feel like we knew where it was actually going, right? And we knew what we were going to accomplish. And I think that ended up showing in the finished product.
Well, Justin's also third generation legacy. I mean, he's Michael Landon's grandson, so he's kind of grown up in the whole business. Well, same with you, Dylan. I mean, you've been in the business since you were in diapers, so. Yeah,
I'm unsure. Like third generation is, I feel like that's like being, like I'm a third generation immigrant from Sicily. It's like, well, it doesn't necessarily mean you make a better oyster pasta than you're not more inclined. I feel like honestly, Justin and Luke's hard work and interest in their craft is really what's paid off. And maybe there are some things there, of course, that definitely kind of take it over the ledge. Family dynamics, them talking to each other and having an inclination to watch movies, certainly. But yeah, third generation still kind of removed.
Yeah, you inherit a passion, but it doesn't necessarily mean you inherit a skill or a talent. And the boys really have kind of come into their own, and they built this world from scratch, as far as I'm concerned. And it was a pleasure to watch them work.
Sure was.
So before we do all the plugs and everything else, what would a sequel to The Duel look like?
Us being buried.
Yeah.
Maybe ghosts coming back and haunting Patrick Warburton.
Maybe, or our seconds might have to duel themselves to properly resolve the question.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'd watch that movie.
Yeah,
Denny and Hart.
Denny and Hart.
The Duel Gentlemen's Rules comes out July 31st in limited release in theater and eventually to VOD. Where can we find the two of you on social media if we want to connect and continue the conversation?
I'm like Bombadil on Instagram, and I'm otherwise not super active on the other ones. I was on TikTok for a while, killing mosquitoes and counting them, but I
Love
don't do
it.
that.
I virtually exclusively use Instagram, and it's just under my name, Dylan Sprouse. So you can find me there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, the Duel Gentlemen's Rules comes out in theaters July 31st. Congratulations. This was what I referred to as the anti-rom-com.
Thank you, man.